Hello friends, in this video we are going to see how Spring Retry mechanism works. So as you can see, this is the definitions basically, uh, how and why this retry mechanism is basically required. So this is to handle failures, multiple failures in our applications. So let's suppose we have service A which calls service B, but service B is temporarily unavailable, or service B facing some issues and that service is temporarily down. In that case, what we will do, instead of failing immediately, service A tries the call a few times, giving service B time to recover. That means instead of immediately returning a response saying service B is down or not responsive, just we will wait for, we will retry after few minutes of few time intervals. Okay, in thinking that service B might get served, right? So let's suppose we have invoked service B. Immediately if we are returning like service B is down, so that is not the correct way of handling this situation, because service B might be facing some issues which may get recovered very soon. So instead we will wait for few seconds and again we will retry, means try to hit service B, and then we might get the response, right? So because of that reason, to handle that situation we will use a retry mechanism. And what it is saying, sometimes database connection is temporarily down. Okay, a message broker like RabbitMQ Kafka is experiencing high latency. Retrying ensures the operation succeeds once the resource becomes available. So what happens, what it is saying, let's suppose service B is down, maybe because of some database issue or because of some MQs, whether it is RabbitMQ or Kafka, and due to which service A is unable to get a particular response, right? So it will wait for some times and it will again hit that service B, and when service B is up, we will be getting the response, right? So this is giving a chance to recover service B. Hope this is clear. Now there are multiple reasons to use this retry mechanism, and then we have recovered. So let's suppose we, after waiting for several minutes or several seconds, still service B is not giving any response. That time, instead of throwing the error to the user, we can use the recover. At recover, this is the annotations on the other side of the functions, which will give perfect response to the user. So users may not get that unnecessary error like what we or service B is throwing, right? Instead that we can say the service is temporarily down, you can try after some time. So that, to give a proper message to the user, we use the recover method. Okay, so let's see how it works through code. Okay, so I have already created one application. So to start, we have this class called retry mechanism. Okay, application, this is the main application. So it is annotated with at Spring Boot application. And remember, we have to use this annotation as well, enable retry. And if you can see, this is coming from this retry package, right? I have added this dependency retry. So this is those annotation coming from this jar basically. Okay, I will go first with this controller. Okay, and then we will see what happens. Let's suppose we have a controller called student controller. Okay, and it is having a student service, this class, or we can say it's a bean. Now what happens, we are having one functions called get student details. Okay, now when you are hitting this API through this get students info, so it will hit service class to get the student details. So if you go inside, so what happens, let's suppose it is having few business logics, and here you might be having some DB logics, or to call the DB service, for example, to when we are fetching the real data from the database, right? So db service related info will be there, and then that service is particularly down, maybe because of some reason. Okay, now what happens, it will throw, let's suppose, any business exception. Now we are throwing runtime exception. If this service particularly is down, that means this service, db service, will be throwing some error like db exception. Okay, or because this is not able to establish connection between service b. Okay, in that case what happens, we are just throwing exception. But what we are doing here, what we are doing, we are writing, we have written this retrieval, this annotation. Okay, so the reason we have written, because this is the Spring provided annotation where we can define all the configurations, like maximum how many times this service, these particular functions will be called to retry this, but this service. Okay, so and for what purpose, like for what exception. For example, in this scenario, I'm throwing this runtime exception. So what I'm saying, retry for this runtime exception. Whenever this exception is coming, just retry this again. Backoff. Backoff is nothing but an, the delay or interval uh, duration after how many seconds, how many minutes this function should be executed again and again. So either we can write over here, or we can have a config class where we can define all these things. Okay, let's suppose after 3 attempts also it is not you know able to get any response from db service, or from, let's suppose, it is service b. Okay, service b, it is not giving any response after 3 attempts also. Then what will do, it will go fall to this recover functions. Okay, so what happens, it will go to this particular functions, and it will return you the response, like please try after some time, something like that. Okay, so basically the overall idea is to handle this kind of scenario when service b is down, and instead of throwing this exception immediately, wait and retry for 3 times after few seconds of delay. Even though it is not giving any response, then just go and call these functions recover, and it will give a meaningful message to the user. Hope this is clear. Now, what are the changes required to implement all these things, right? So if you come to this form.xml, so what I have added, we have to add this dependency. Okay, Spring Retry. So this dependency through which we will getting those annotations, and also Spring AOP. Okay, now you might be wondering why we are using AOP, because AOP is aspect-oriented programming, where I will give you for few examples for that as well. So why AOP is necessary? Because it intercept method calls. So what it is saying, direct call to the method bypass the retry logic since there is no proxy. Okay, AOP enables retry logic to be applied without modifying your business class, and you can use retrieval understand as we have used, right? So without writing the retry logic manually. That means what happens, AOP what does, like it will create a proxy object where it will have all the configurations of retry or whatever we have provided here. So using these configurations, they will create one proxy object, or where it will keep on trying for these many durations, these many attempts. Even though if it is not, then it will fall back to recover method. AOP will do at runtime, it will create a proxy object and will have all the modifications, and they will be doing this uh, retry for these many patterns, and after these many delay of time, and then it will fall back to this recover methods. So this is why we have used AOP. Without AOP, this is not possible. Okay, so we have to use that. And another jar that we have added, that is the dependency starter wave for this web applications. Okay, hope this is clear, right? So now I will what I will do, I will stop this server. Process finished. Okay, now I will again start this application. See, so the server got started on port 8080, and let's see, test this application how it works. So we will be hit API. So we have students info. So let's hit. So what we will do, we have already created this students info. I have already done the testing earlier, so it is coming. If you hit this, what we are giving a response to the user, like please try after some time, right? If you see the log over here, so see it is first in retry controller, and then going for the service, get student details. Okay, and then here your we are logging fetch student details. How many times it is being logged? 3 times, right? 1 2 3, because 3 times it is trying to hit this service, these functions, to get the response. Let's suppose any services it is there, that means 3 times it is going to execute these functions. Okay, after 3 times, when this attempts exceeded, then it is falling back to this recover method, right? So this is basically a fallback method. So see what it is saying, recovering after 3 retries failed. Okay, so recovering after this count 3 retries failed, and the message is unable to fetch student details. Okay, so this is what we will be getting the response from the service, particular service B in this case. Okay, so hope this is clear, and this is very essential whenever you are writing in your in real-time scenario. This as I told, it may be some different scenarios in the same service. Let for example you are calling the DB service, and that is getting you know failed because of some reasons. So that time also you can use the same scenario, like retriable. What happens, let's suppose you are doing some transactions, and so multiple users trying to hit the service, right? Trying to make some changes in the DB. Let's suppose 2 threads coming same time, and one thread got the transactions and logged the table and trying to modify something. At the same time, second users coming. So whenever it will see like this is already occupied with some other thread, so it will throw timeout exception or something like that. So instead that what we'll give, just wait for some times and retry again. Maybe by that time the lock will get released by first thread, and the next thread which is coming can get access to that resource. So instead of giving a response immediately to the user, so just wait for a few seconds and retry. So how many times? So those times attempts you can mention over there, like 5 times, 10 times, or 1 2 times, whatever. So this way you can develop and you can use in your project. Hope this is clear, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.